Hey guys, welcome to Isaiah's Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing the Lydsto W2 all-in-one station. This is a robot vacuum cleaner. You can see it docked down here. Here's the station. It's pretty good size. This is a special day. This is a special product on a special channel, of course, but I've been hinting at something big and juicy coming. It's this guy right here. This thing can use LiDAR, which is the best mapping a robot vac can have right now. I would take LiDAR over actual camera mapping and stuff like that. And dumb robots don't have LiDAR and they just run around in circles and do different things and miss everything. But this one collects a lot of stuff. It does a lot of sweet stuff in this station. It will suck out all the debris that it collects in its bin. There's a catch. When you want to mop with it, it also will circulate clean water through and over those mop heads and suck it up into a sump tank on the other side, on the left side, which you can see here. Clean water, your dustbin, and your sump tank. So it'll actually circulate clean over it, take it over here to the sump, agitate those brush heads, clean it off. It uses hot water. It uses hot air to sterilize the brushes after it's done and completely dry those pads off. Hot water, hot air, self-collecting everything. So it's pretty awesome. Right now it's on Kickstarter and the price is very appealing. I would tell you to run and get it because the price that they want for all of this is the price for just a LiDAR vac that doesn't self-empty, doesn't mop with turning mop heads, and it sure doesn't clean out, have a sump, and completely dry and sterilize with hot air. But we're going to get to the proof that's in that pudding, but right now we're going to go over some specs. I highly suggest right now that you go down to the YouTube description and click the link to the Kickstarter campaign and watch the 1 and 16-second video that they have. It's a super quick rendering of all the internals and what's going on. Come back after you watch that because that'll give you a good idea of what we're talking about. And we're going to go into great detail about this thing because I've had it a week now. I've probably done over 30 runs of this thing. So probably a couple months worth of work in 5 days. I've lived and breathed nothing but this device, trying to make sure I find everything that's wrong with it and everything that's right with it. And then I'll come to my conclusion at the end, but let's go over some specs. The Super Early Bird is $659, Early Bird is $679. The Super Early Bird for 2 stations is $12.99, and the Early Bird for 2 entire units is $13.49. And you can do the add-ons, which I would do the $80 add-on to get 2 times everything. You get 2 years worth of supplies. I would just do that for the bags. That could be changed through firmware. So let's get into the pros and cons, shall we? The pros is I love the hardware of this thing. It works. The whole functionality up here, all this whole world that they've engineered out here, as simple as it is, in order for them to get that cost down and pass that cost on to savings on to you over the competition, which might be $1,000, $1,100, I would guess. You're almost at half the price, almost, which is good. I'm still sticking firm to if you can afford this and you might use the mopping, I'd get it, man, because it has kept this floor as clean as ever. And also, before I forget, I almost forgot, the mopping heads on this thing here stay pressed down as well. Now the pickup roll, it rests downwards and rides along the surface. So does this. When it activates, it kind of rests down and rides along with it a little bit, which is fantastic. So it's able to get, your scraped flooring or something like that that may not be perfectly flat. It's able to do that. But the downside to that is it's not able to go over rugs, carpet, or anything like that when it's in mopping mode. The other option would be it recognizes where a carpet is, lifts those things up and out of the way and goes into just cleaning the rugs and stuff. But you're looking at this. And I'd much rather deal with this setup and physically pick it up and carry it to a bathroom or something, or a hallway, and run it when I want to mop it, than deal with paying extra. Because for my setup, having the vast majority of the floor available to this to mop, it's a win for me. So that's a definite pro, is the mopping. The suction power is huge. It's double the heaviest suction one I've had in the past. I have a dozen or so vacuums. So the suction on this thing is amazing. It was able to get onto a high pile rug, like this high, like 2 inches, inch and a half. Man, the reach on this thing is crazy. Climbed up on, I thought, I've never owned a vacuum that could get onto this rug here. Usually it just skirts around it. I had stuff sitting out, the kids have their toys out, and I'm like, it won't come up here. It came up there, and it cleaned it completely. Cleaned it all around. I'll show you a picture of the map of where it's cleaned the house and stuff like that. I think of the map that I'll show you here is the silent mode, left with like 50-something% battery. I think I took a screenshot of it after the fact, so I think it shows 100% charge, but it takes about a full power. It does about 2/3 of the floor of the entire house at full power all the time. And that's some strong suction. Like I said, getting up here running around on the carpet, that was wild to me. That was wild. That was good stuff. So the mopping, the suction power, all that's good. All of the hardware is great and reliable. The way it's built, how it's optimized for the best way to do it. The circulation, the sump tanks, the pickup, this thing pops out to clean, like all that, all of it's fantastic. All pros. Some of the app pros. So there we go. Price, pros. Let's get into the cons, which I'm going to be very picky with, because the cons can be changed through firmware. It gets a little clunky around some chair legs and some walls. It's got the sensors and it's got the tools that it can smoothly do things, because I've had all robots that can smoothly do things. This wants to kind of go in a little bit around rounded objects like this little ottoman over here, or against the stone wall where the fireplace is. It kind of wants to go in as it's going down. It's not very confident of itself going in between a space that it has the room to go into, but it might think it doesn't. It's kind of like, nah, can I go? And it freaks out and backs up or something like that and bumps the chair leg. So they can hone all that out through firmware, and I have no doubt they have other units. They should know this, but I think they will hone this out, and I would put my money on it that they will polish this out. The app, in my opinion, needs some help tips on there that can be turned off after you've learned the app. I think it needs to be overly simplified, basically with pause and resume used more in the bottom right instead of just start, because sometimes when you start, it wipes out the map and it will go pick up where it left off, but all the map, everything it's done gets wiped away because of a situation where it gets hung up, something you got to do to it. If you hit start again, it will wipe out. It should just be a strict play, resume kind of thing until the entire mission is accomplished. And then, return to home button should be down there instead of charge. Just little words, little things. They probably need to kind of slightly overhaul the words and how things are laid out with helpful hints to activate, to show you exactly what the engineers intended these functions to do. And after you've learned everything, you can go in there and just turn that off. I would suggest that. It has a bulky base station. I love it. Doesn't bother me, but it needs space. It needs its space. Luckily, it works out perfect for me, but I could see this not working for other people because of the bulk of it. So that's just something to be aware of. The dimensions and everything are on the link down in the YouTube description, so make sure to go through there and comb through that page and look at those dimensions before you order it, make sure it fits. And like I said earlier, I mentioned here an overall smoothing out. It needs an overall smoothing out of the functions of the robot itself. A little clunky, a little bulky. The app as well. Just honing, but everything can be done with over-the-air firmware updates. Or not over the air, through your Wi-Fi. The water tank runs out, which it does, and it will surprise you. And it'll say, hey, I want to finish cleaning these heads, these mop heads, but your tank just ran out and I ain't got no more water. It'll tell you that. It'll tell you when the sump's full, so you're protected there. But whenever you fill it up and put the water back in, it doesn't resume where it left off. And that's a problem that I think that they can address. Whenever that happens, the mop stuff that it was doing is wiped. So it should retain its map, all that information, and be able to resume, and it should say resume down there. Whenever you fill this up, boom, you hit resume on the app. It's going to pick back up on the cleaning of the heads, and then go back and also pick back up on the map instead of it also erasing the map along with this. It's not good. And I think there needs to be a clear section on the app of relocating that mop, picking it up, putting it in another area, another room, another zone that's actually on the map, and say mop here, without it wanting to go back to the base station. It wants to go back to the base station, but it can't because there's carpet there. So sometimes you set it there and hit, okay, clean this area, and it goes, oh, I gotta go back to the base station. No, I just took you from the base station where you've got wet, fresh set of mops, cleaned heads, wet, put over here, clean. For some reason, sometimes it'll want to go back. So I think they need a clear button, a clear section on the front of that, hey, just mop this, and it's meant to be picked up and put down and mopped and not returned back to the base station. Convert to American standard for your footage, so it'd be square foot and stuff like that. So, and the brush rope cleaning, which I mentioned earlier, is a con because it should have a little notch near the end where the hair gets wrapped in the groove, little notch where that tool can get in there, cut it out, and you pull that hair out. And also, the tool should not have a brush head. It should have a stiff comb so you could comb it through the brush roll and clean debris and stuff out of that. Also, I've got on here the no-go areas. You should be able to draw those down smaller than what it has the ability to do, because right now I have a recliner over here that has an end table next to it. I've included the recliner and the end table, but it sticks out a little wider because I can't move that no-go any smaller. So I think they need to work on the sizing, resizing, and let you have full control over that space. And more of them, you get 10 full no map, no-go zones and stuff like walls, all that figured in together. There's only 10 So I think it needs to be more. I've had more on other apps, so I know it's possible. basically, who's this for? Well, it's for if you've got a lot of hard floor space. If you've got a lot of hard floor space, pick it up because it can mop. And you get top of the line suction power to boot. So you're killer. 2 combinations for the price, for less than the price of one, because that amount of suction with the auto dustbin will cost you more than this thing costs with the mopping capability and the heated water and the heated air, the color LED screen in the front. I mean, it looks nice. It will impress people when they come over, and I would buy this in a heartbeat still with the cons that I have. I know that list of cons was high, but I feel like I listed everything that I could find wrong with it for letting it consume my life for a week. I was just like every day, every moment, what is wrong with this thing? I've got to find out what's wrong so that it can be addressed before your Kickstarter packages arrive. This could all be voided. It could be fixed in the firmware. It's a beautiful thing, and I hope this video helps, and I hope you explode on that subscribe button and ding that dong so that you can get the next product right here on Isaiah's Reviews, because this guy I'm sitting in, that's why I'm sitting in it. You're probably like, what are you sitting in a beach chair for? It's a beach rocker. The goodness of this review will be coming in October, right after I get back from the beach. See ya.